Welcome to Beyond the Broomstick. I'm Lori, and each week we pull back the curtain on the myths, history, and modern practice of witchcraft. No Hollywood, no fear, just honest conversation about the craft, healing, and the magic that connects us all. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Beyond the Broomstick with Lori, where we explore witchcraft, healing, intuition, ancient wisdom, and the magic that exists beyond what most people are willing to see. I'm Lori, and I'm so grateful that you are here. Today, I want to talk about something that changed my life forever. The day I finally trusted my intuition. Not the day I discovered I had intuition. Not the day I learned about chakras or spirit guides or energy. The day I stopped asking everyone else if what I already knew was true. Because here's something I believe with every fiber of my being. All of us are born intuitive. We are all born intuitive. Every single one of us. Intuition isn't a gift reserved for psychics. It's our original language. Before words, before logic, before fear, our intuition spoke first. The tragedy is that somewhere along the way, many of us were taught not to listen. Think back to when you were a child. Did you ever say, "I don't like that person," and someone replied, "Oh, don't be rude"? Or maybe you said a place felt scary, or you sensed something before it happened. And a trusted adult laughed and told you that you had an overactive imagination. Little by little, we began outsourcing our inner knowing. We stopped asking ourselves. Instead, we asked teachers, parents, friends, experts, the internet. We turned to social media. Anyone except the one voice that has been with us since before we took our first breath. Our own. For years, I questioned myself. I could feel energy. I could walk into a room and immediately know when something wasn't right. I could meet someone and sense grief they hadn't spoken about. Sometimes I'd have dreams that later unfolded. Sometimes I'd receive quiet nudges that made absolutely no logical sense whatsoever. Yet, it turned out to be exactly what I needed. And still, I'd second guess myself. Maybe I'm imagining it. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. Maybe I'm wrong. Literally gaslighting myself. Sound familiar? Here's what I've learned, though. Intuition is usually quiet. Fear is loud. Fear rushes. Fear argues. Fear needs evidence. Intuition simply whispers, "This way." It doesn't beg, doesn't panic, it doesn't need to prove itself. It simply knows. One of the greatest challenges on a spiritual path is learning the difference between intuition and anxiety. Anxiety says, "What if everything goes wrong?" Intuition says, "Don't take that road." Anxiety spirals into 1,000 possibilities. Intuition offers one clear sentence, then becomes silent again. And there came a moment in my life when logic and intuition stood on opposite sides of the room. Logic had spreadsheets. opinions, reasons, evidence. Intuition simply said, no. There wasn't a dramatic lightning bolt, no booming voice from the heavens, just a quiet certainty. One that refused to disappear. I wish I could tell you trusting it was easy. It wasn't. Because trusting your intuition often means disappointing people, walking away, changing direction, being misunderstood, doing something that doesn't make sense until years later. But I listened, and when I did, everything changed. One of the greatest myths is that intuition always leads to easy roads. It doesn't. Let me tell you, it doesn't. Sometimes intuition leads you directly into your healing, and healing is rarely comfortable. Healing is a lot of ugly crying, and don't let anyone tell you anything different. Sometimes your intuition asks you to leave relationships that no longer nourish your spirit. Sometimes it tells you to start a business everyone says will fail. Ask me how I know that one. Sometimes it tells you to rest when the world demands productivity, that damn hustle culture. Sometimes it whispers, you've outgrown this version of yourself. That whisper can be terrifying, but it is also incredibly freeing. As a healer, I've watched people ignore their intuition for decades. Their body begins whispering, then speaking louder, then screaming, exhaustion, anxiety, restlessness, a constant feeling that something isn't right. Often they aren't broken. They're simply living a life their soul never agreed to. Listen to that sentence again. They're simply living a life their soul never agreed to. So how do we strengthen intuition? We don't do it by trying harder, and we don't do it by buying another deck of cards, even though that's nice. We don't do it by collecting more crystals. Again, that is also nice. Those tools are beautiful, and I use them. But they don't create intuition. They amplify what is already there. Real intuition grows in stillness, in silence, in walks through the forest, in meditation, in watching ravens glide across the sky, in noticing. The world is constantly speaking. The question is, have we become quiet enough to hear it? One of my favorite practices is incredibly simple. When you wake tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, before the world tells you who to be, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and then ask yourself, what does my soul need today? Don't analyze it. Don't force an answer. Simply notice what arrives first and trust that first thing. It's a word, a feeling, an image, a memory. That's often intuition speaking before the noise begins. I also invite people to begin keeping promises to themselves, because every time you ignore your intuition, your subconscious remembers. Every time you honor it, trust grows. Intuition isn't strengthened because it becomes louder. It strengthens because you become more willing to listen. I've also learned something beautiful. The universe doesn't shout. Nature doesn't shout. The moon doesn't shout. The old forests don't shout. Neither does intuition. It has no need to compete. It simply waits, patiently, lovingly, for the moment you're finally ready to hear it. If you're listening today and you've been doubting yourself, maybe you've been asking everyone else what you should do, maybe you've been searching for permission, maybe you've been waiting for a sign, What if you already received it? What if the quiet knowing inside you is the sign? Before we end today's episode, I'd like to leave you with this blessing. Take a slow breath and place one hand over your heart and one over your belly. Feel the rise and fall of your breath and repeat quietly to yourself, I trust the wisdom that lives within me. I release the need for constant certainty. I honor the quiet voice that guides my path. May I walk with courage. May I listen with presence. May I remember that my intuition is not outside of me. It has always been within me. Thank you for joining me today on Beyond the Broomstick. If this episode spoke to your heart, I'd love for you to share it with someone who needs a reminder to trust themselves a little more. Until next time, walk gently, stay curious, keep your heart open, and remember, the deepest magic you'll ever discover isn't hidden in an ancient spell book. It's the quiet wisdom that's been waiting inside you all along.